So this is part 2 of my sort of pyramid in Cairo, Giza experience. So honey, I'm gonna show because I have a jar here. So I had to buy honey yesterday. I was just like, that was the only thing I could think about, which is very weird because I don't like honey, you know, in normal circumstances. But yesterday I was eating honey. I was having hibiscus tea with honey. I was eating basically honey from a spoon. I did a honey face mask. I have had honey today in my oats, like in my breakfast, in some tea. I've just been obsessed with honey, you know. So, and that's not me in a normal way, you know. So I had to do research about it. Is there any connection to the pyramids in Giza and honey? And yes, there is definitely certain connection there. I'm just trying to open this one because, okay, I can't open it, but I have a huge jar here. So apparently what they used to use honey for when it's concerning the, not the mummification, but you know, how they treated the people who died, is that they used to put honey on their bodies. Yes. Also, they apparently used honey as a gift that they were putting into around the sarcophags. So there would be some food for the gods or in the afterlife. So they they made like honey cakes and they put a lot of honey, and there was something else, honeycombs and stuff. They used a lot of honey, you know. And the interesting thing I was reading about is that, you know how the honey is produced by the bees, and the bees are like, you know, they are sort of, they have this queen bee. Now there has been some, you know, process in how to interpret certain, you know, historical, religious, spiritual stuff, you know. And what people have sort of proposed is that, you know, this mother goddess that has been found previously in the history apparently could be the queen bee that is, you know, sort of at the top of the bee society, whatever, which is very interesting because it is a female. And there has even been some proposal theories apparently that the minx, I don't know, this whole thing that I feel like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, that it is in front of the second pyramid, that one potentially could be connected to the bees. Because for the Egyptians in the ancient Egypt, they were really valuing bees and they were valuing honey, and not only honey, but as you probably are aware, and this was an article that I just read, the flowers and plants, you know, especially flowers, what they can do apparently is that they can sort of hear, because of how the flowers are shaped, they can hear the vibration from the bees. So they know that if a bee is approaching, they will produce more sweeter nectar. So they are like communicating through the vibration there. And the more interesting thing is also that bees, you know, we need food. I mean, there are some people who say that if there was no bees, there would be no humans, because if there is no bees, there would be no pollination and no like plants and all these things. So for some reason, honey was super important back in the old days, like way back BC as well, you know, if you're sort of counting the time from there. And yeah, so let me see here some stuff. So one of the interesting things what the ancient Egyptians and stuff also said about the bees is that they are like communicating. The language of bees are through dance, vibrational, some like dance, you know. So the language is not like words, you know. And I think they have connected this into this whole mother goddess figure, that the language is more like dance or some vibration or whatever. There is no like speaking, talking, you know, in that form of sense. And also they said that honey was apparently the food for the souls of the dead. Yeah, that's what they said that it was for. And I think it was, let me see here, I think it was one of the pharaohs. It could have been the Tutankhamun or someone. He apparently provided 15 tons of honey to a Nile god. Like the Nile is like a river that flows through the area where the pyramids are positioned. He like gave 15 tons of honey to that god as a gift, you know. That is a whole lot of honey, you know. So just for you to, in case you're going to visit the pyramids, if you come out to the pyramid and you feel like, oh, you want to eat honey and you have never really craved it before, you might just have been walking into something that it was very like part of the whole culture and, you know, way of doing things back when it was sort of a different timing. And also, let me see here. Yeah, and also the bees, like the animal or the insect, you know, whatever. It has also been, you know, portrayed on the walls inside of Egyptian tombs, and there's like these images and stuff that has bees on, and apparently there's a whole like story about these, you know, different names, like how the bee in Latin is called apis, and in Mesopotamia uh, there was this name called Sippa, which is like a bee, which is backwards apis, so Sippa and apis is like the same thing. And also they also say that the Indian civilization, they were also really prioritizing bees. And apparently all these culture, civilization stuff that have been valuing bees, they have built these labyrinths and stuff. They have really had labyrinths as some form of symbols and stuff. And when I was thinking about labyrinths, you know, when I read about it, I was thinking that that is sort of how you feel that energy, like you have this circular type of energy from the pyramids, like on the ground, you know, as a form of circular type of labyrinths, whatever that would make for sense, you know. And also the bee has a lot of symbolism involved. There is some resurrection, there is some regeneration, and there's like all types of things. And also apparently, this is an interesting thing, it was the bees that sort of guided humans back in ancient time to some plants that was having these properties of hallucination, you know. So, and then I started to think that in the Amazonian jungles and stuff, you know, there was these plants that was used for rituals and spiritual and religious activities, and probably humans wouldn't have known which one was possible to consume, but potentially they might got an insight through the bees, you know, that they were guided because of that. And that was just what I think, you know. And also, let's see here, also the first Egyptian ruler of the dynasty, the first dynasty I think, or however it works, was called a beekeeper. And all the following pharaohs were also called beekeepers in the same way. So that is like some stuff, you know. And also there are some like drawings or paintings and stuff of these. It's like something that the pyramids, some of the ancient Egyptians have on their head in some of these paintings. It's like a little bit thick, and then it's like something that goes up like this, and then there is like a round thing on the top. Now some people, scholars and stuff, has connected that they're having on top of their head as honey, as a jar pot of honey. And what that is meant to symbolize is actually a library of knowledge. So not only have the bees been associated to being like this whole you know, soul type of thing or manifestation or whatever, but also to like knowledge, and like that bees are holding knowledge and stuff, you know. Yeah, there's like a whole list of things that goes on in that. And also, interestingly enough, the pyramids themselves, they are like, as you know, they are like shaped in this way. But there is also in these ancient civilizations that they have a square, and you can fit a circle inside of the square. And then if you divide the circle into, first and foremost, 4, and then you put in one like that, you basically getting, you know, like a pyramid, you know, if you would construct it from that. So, and there was some theories about, you know, like how the circle and square and stuff were like representing universe, earth and all things. So, and then you can also construct a pyramid out of that, you know, sort of, I don't know, shapes and stuff. So yeah, there was like so many things in relation to that. And also the fact that all these civilizations that have been constructing pyramids, they have also had close connection to the bee and to the honey. And obviously honey was also apparently used in drinks for rituals and such type of things, and for medicine, nutrition and all types of things. But this was apparently a very, very central product in the ancient Egyptian type of society. But not only that, there probably is not only, you know, starting there, it is also like connected in